All right, guys, so we are here for our day trading stream. Again, we are going to be trading on Top Step X today. Top Step X. I'll get this banner rolling through here. Remember, again, I will put this screen up. Again, we're all right, guys, so I muted it just so I can make sure that my keyboard's not too loud as I'm banging away. So did the redirect work? I'm pretty sure it did, right? Yeah, I see some Cybertrucks. Why is there a bear photo in the back? Because that is an obituary for all my bears out there. You know, that's an obituary. His name's Jeff. So, rest in peace, Jeff. Yeah, I've seen Cybertrucks. They're impressive looking cars, man. They're really cool. They're cool cars. So yeah, they're impressive looking. Worked for you, good. Did Cybertruck work, chat? Again, we are going to be day trading. All right. Gold all-time high coming. Hey, we'll see. Yeah, Cybertrucks are cool. The problem, or what a lot of people say, a lot of people are originally like, "Oh, Cybertrucks are ugly," right? And I get it. I disagree, and I think like a lot of people think they're ugly before they see one in person, and then once they see one in person, they're more entranced by it. You know, my wife is a good example. My wife was like, "Oh, Cybertrucks are ugly," and I get it, you know. But once she saw one in person, she changed her tune a lot, you know. So like she saw one in person, she realized how cool they were. So, you know. That Hummer EV. Yeah, the Hummer EVs are looking really nice, to be honest. Like, I saw those. They look a lot like, honestly, you can kind of tell they stole the look from, like, a jacked up Bronco, is what it looks like. The new Hummer EV did kind of steal its look from a jacked up Bronco, right? So, like, if you look at a Hummer and you look at the new Broncos, like, look. All right, so just to put this into perspective so you can kind of see how similar these two look. All right. Here's a jacked up Bronco. And then here is, let me see if I can find a better front view. Yeah. And then here is the GMC Hummer. Okay, so GMC Hummer, jacked up Bronco. Honestly, you know, like, let me see if I can find a better front view of, so, I mean, they look exactly alike. So you can tell they obviously, like, stole, here's a better view. Like, look, they obviously stole a little bit of, look. So, again, Bronco. Jacked up Hummer. So, I mean, very similar. Hummer EV versus Bronco. Which one do you like more, chat? Let me know. But again, they look freaking identical to each other. They look virtually identical. So, yeah. Somebody got mad at me for saying so yeah, that's like a filler word, dude. Everybody has filler words. Like if you're super desperate to criticize, listen, you know, cheers to you. It'll be all right. Listen, I know it. I get it. I'm just like super handsome, and like that might hurt to see sometimes. Like John on the internet thriving and being super handsome, like, you know. But it's all right. It's okay. You know. Oh wait, you're right. I do have the text backwards. My bad. You're right. You are right. I am wrong. You are smart. I'm dumb. You're big little. I am not attractive. I think I got that. I completely botched that too. It goes, what's the saying? It's from Billy Madison. It goes, you're right. Or no, it's from Happy Gilmore when he's talking to Chubbs. You're right, I'm wrong, you're smart, I'm dumb, you're big, I'm little, you're very good looking, and I'm not attractive, is what the saying is. But yeah, you're right. Here's the Bronco on the right side. But again, you can tell, and I like the Hummers, but they look exactly like Broncos that are jacked up, which is great. I like jacked up Broncos. Yeah. Definitely top 3-ish thrivers in the world right now. Yeah. All right, guys. Hummer's an abomination. I mean, I don't know. I think the EV's cool. I think people just look. I think big oil runs the world, and so anything that's not an internal combustion engine, oil-driven car or automobile, people just get weird, right? But y'all are arguing big oil's arguing points, right? And somehow they think big oil is like for the little guy. Like, come on now. Like, big oil runs the world. What's one of their biggest threat? EVs, hydrogen. What do they want? They want you to not like it, right? So a lot of people just kind of regurgitating, oh, EVs, I hate them. You know, it's like y'all are just arguing big oil's talking points. That's what they want you to argue for, you know? The problem is like EVs and hydrogen vehicles are more efficient. You know, maybe hybrids are going to take off, but EVs faster, better mileage, mesh better with technology. Some of them drive themselves. And I think over time, technology evolves. And so you can't hide from it. You can't hate it. You got to just look at it objectively and try to profit from it is what I think. But maybe I'm wrong. You know, I know there's a lot of businesses that rely on oil, but, you know, to be honest, you see stuff like Deepwater Horizon disaster and all that stuff, and you got to question whether there's a better way. Again, I'm not saying mining lithium is good, because obviously it's not. But yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll get more efficient at that over time too. I didn't know you love Fords. I don't really love. I wouldn't say I love Fords. There's some Fords that are I like Mustangs. Mustangs are cool. I was always a tuner person, right? So I grew up in like the Fast and Furious age, where the Fast and Furious had just came out. My dream car growing up, I had a couple. I would probably go with my original dream car, the one that I wanted when I first got started. Being interested in cars, was a twin turbo 300Z. This was before the 350Z came out. I wanted a twin turbo 300Z. Then I probably transitioned to wanting a twin turbo Toyota Supra, and then I wanted an Acura NSX, right? And there's a bunch of cool little dream cars that I want. But again, I had a really cool little Prelude, H22 Honda Prelude with VTEC and 5-speed. It was fun. It's one of my favorite cars I ever had. One of the Louisiana Hurricanes ate it, and so that car is no more, unfortunately. John, should you draw trend lines with lines or candles? Oh, do you mean on the candle wicks or the actual candle topper? I don't know. It's preference based. You know, you could draw the trends and they'll probably work either way. But yeah. Yeah, definitely top 3-ish advocates for pro oil and against it at the same time. Yeah, look at NVIDIA pump. It still hasn't broken 122s yet, so it's still trying to get over 122s. Yeah, NVIDIA's up, though. It's up. You know, I was going to put the, like, make myself, I guess I will. I'll make myself all big here. All right, let's make the market open. I'm not a big tuner guy, but that Skyline is fast. Which Skyline? The old ones or the new G34s or R34s? I never really got super into the drift scene, right? Like, I was always a quarter mile person, you know? Like, when I raced when I was younger, it was always quarter mile races. I would never drift. Drifting beats up the car too much, and I love cars. Like, I don't want to beat my car up, you know? And I always just thought it was more fun to just straight race, quarter mile race, you know? Basically, I live my life a quarter mile at a time, you know? And a Motec system exhaust, all right? With that said, though, EVs are smoking everything on the market right now. Like, you buy a Tesla Plaid, it's a freaking drag car. It'll beat anything and everything you buy stock. You know, a Tesla Plaid stock is going to beat the most souped up car, that, like, street legal car, for the most part, right? With only a couple exceptions, maybe. Need 5 to 6 speed shifts. Well, the problem is that, like, okay, so in the 50s, in the early days, like in the 40s and 50s and 60s, and really into the 70s to a certain extent, maybe a little bit past then too. It just depends on the vehicle. Manual transmission was the most efficient. Like, you could control it better when you're driving it. It was more efficient. It was simply more efficient. And efficiency leads the race anywhere you go, right? Whether we're talking about automobiles, whether we're talking about anything, efficiency wins. So in those age, like, a 5-speed was more efficient. Like, 5 and 6 speed manual transmission was more efficient. And the first car I learned on was a 5-speed, so I know how to drive standard. Once you get into, like, the 80s and 90s and 2000s, that's where it pivots from 5 speeds and 6 speeds and manual transmissions being more efficient to automatics being more efficient. And if you fast forward to today, automatics are vastly more efficient than standard vehicles right now. Like, an automatic transmission is going to be much cleaner, much more efficient than a standard right now. Like, you're gonna lose speed if you get a 5-speed or a 6-speed. Now, some people still like to control it. I was always one of those guys that loved manual transmission cars. I would love driving them. Even if it was a truck, I had fun with it. But it's definitely not as necessary anymore now versus 30, 40 years ago. And so that's a problem. And a lot of people refuse to accept that now. A lot of people will still pretend like a standard is faster, and it's not anymore. Automatic transmissions are simply better now. And they will seamlessly shift through the gears. And it's just not as, it's not as cool. I agree, but it is what it is. Not on a track though. Yeah, maybe. You know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The last real wreck I got in, I had some friends in the car. I had a 5-speed Ford Explorer is what it was. I had a 5-speed Ford Explorer. And I was taking a left. And the light was yellow, like flashing yellow, right? So basically, I had to yield for the other cars taking a left, or maybe there wasn't a light at all. I can't remember, but I had to yield towards cars in the oncoming lane. But the transmission was shoddy, so the transmission was not good, And I remember I put it in first gear. As I shifted to second, the transmission basically went out, and my car stalled in the oncoming traffic lane. And I'm still kind of mad about it, but this truck saw me from freaking half a mile away. Never slowed down, just rammed straight into me, And again, it was my fault 100%, and I think he knew that, and so he was getting a free payday, a new truck. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was my bad driving. That's possible too. I don't freaking know. But this was like 20 years ago. Yeah, no, for sure. Track cars, Tesla is probably going to lose to some others. For sure. I agree generally with that. If you want to check out Top Step again, here's the link. Top Step funded account program. I'm going to buy this little dip. Again, we are trading the regular NASDAQ. We are going to switch to our actual funded account after the opening bell. But again, if you want to check out Top Step, here is the link. Great way to help support your boy here in this channel. We appreciate it. What's up, Chef? Yeah, that was the last big wreck I've been in, and that was like 20 years ago. I haven't been in a real wreck since, to be honest. Not that was my fault, at least. I know we had a... I was driving around in one of our old Toyotas, and I had this guy running the back of me, basically. And so we get out, and he gives me... So I took about $20 in profit. We're up about another $15 to $25 on the rest. So I'm just kind of waiting to see if we get some more upward movement. Anyways, he hit the back of me. He gave me his insurance. And I was being impatient, so I didn't feel like waiting for the cops. And so I just kind of left after taking his insurance, because it was his fault. He knew it was his fault. He gave me his insurance. And then I said, all right, well, I'll file the claim later on. Huge mistake, right? I get home. We call his insurance. Apparently, his insurance was canceled about 2 months prior to that, and it wasn't active, and we had to pay for everything ourselves. So I ended up cutting this trade. So we ended up making a couple, like $50 just now on this. So lesson learned: always wait for the cops. You know, as a young kid, I don't freaking know, man. You know. So Caroline Ellison is sentenced to 2 years in prison for a role in FTX. Again, this was kind of like Sam Bankman's girlfriend, I guess. But she was also connected, and through there was like a conflict of interest there, I think, with her, where she was also connected to what was the associated brand that she was connected with? I can't remember what it was. She was connected to some type of association with them. I can't remember exactly what it was though. What is Caroline Ellison connected with in terms of FTX? I could probably use AI. You want to see why AI is useful? Check it out. Alameda Research, a cryptocurrency trading firm that was closely connected with FTX, founded by Sam. Yeah, so again, this is why AI is useful. I could Google it, but I could also query it really quickly with AI. That's why it's powerful. I might buy this dip again, but we got 9 minutes. I think I will. All right, so we're buying this dip. We're going to add 2 contracts to it. Somehow we lost there. We tried to take profit with a market order. My mistake. All right, so we just got out. So we just profited a little bit there too. Yeah, ChatGPT saves time. That's why people acted like AI is not useful. You can tell they've just never used it, in any significant way, at least. Again, GPT-4o is powerful. It really is. Yeah. All right, chat. We got 10 minutes left. All right. Almost there. Who needs AI when they have John? Definitely top 3-ish non-AI persons in the world right now. Fabricating lies and you are the medium for transport. Yeah, but I mean, Constantine, listen, man. I think the problem is, like, look, I think we've grown up with movies like Terminator and all these other movies that make it seem like the world's going to turn into a Skynet-like situation, right? I don't know. I think you got to look at it objectively and understand that right now the big risk is not that we have a sentient being out here. The big risk is job replacement, and I think that's an understandable fear. But I think outside of that, like, AI is just used to query things on the internet. Like, just like the internet can get things wrong, so can AI, of course, right? Like, that should be understandable. But I don't think we should fear it in that way. I think in terms of querying things, is it going to be perfect? Of course not. It's wrong a lot of the time. If I, like, an example of this, if I say, hey, AI, when does Jerome Powell speak next? You know, or if I say AI, usually the way it'll get it wrong is if I say something very specific. If I say, hey, AI, Jerome Powell speaks on November 22nd at 7 a.m., what is that for? Right? That's what AI will get it wrong. It'll bring me something from, like, last year in 2023. And it'll just hit me with wrong dates, and then I'll even be like, hey, you're wrong, and it'll say, oh, I'm sorry, and then it'll correct it. But is that intentional? Of course not. It's just, it's having a hard time querying the correct information. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, Terminator 2 is one of the best movies. My daughter and I watched it. She loved it. We skipped Terminator 1 altogether just because it's not as good. Every morning I have to watch you. Hey, thank you. Wow, I appreciate it. How about MU? MU has earnings today, and maybe that means we're going to get volatility. The thing NVIDIA is struggling with is breaking that 122 level. NVIDIA is having a really hard time getting over 122s. You can kind of see it right here. Like, it's really struggling to break 122s. We'll see if it does, but it's been a struggle so far. You know. And again, we are going to be day trading on Top Step today. We'll see if we get something good. Predator, I love Predator too. Predator, you know, just a good movie, man. I like the Predator universe. I tried a few AI. Chat GPT seems the best, but I'm afraid that humans will change it in such a way that you will be. I mean, I think there's always going to be the good thing about capitalism, right? The good thing about it is that anytime there's a flaw in one system, there's always other systems that you can use. You know, like competition thrives. And so if you don't like one of them, find another one that's better and use that one. You know what I mean? You know, I'm not here to claim that every AI source is always going to be good, right? I don't know. It depends on, like, nobody can predict the future. I don't have a crystal ball. What I will say is that generally there's going to be other options. And that's good. You know, people hate on capitalism, but I think one thing that capitalism breeds is competition. And I think competition is healthy because it allows, if there's a flaw or if there's a hole missing in one, it can get corrected in another through competition. And so, oh, I definitely can, and I do, Kevin. I'm weird about movies, guys. And again, my friend messes with me the same way. Like, I don't like really old movies. Like, the farthest back I'll go, the earliest movies I'll watch are Star Wars from 1970s, right? The original Star Wars 1. And then after that, that's the only old movie I'll really watch. That and the original Predator. Those are movies I'm okay with. Also, maybe like Gremlins, but I think that is, I can't remember when that was made. I think that's late 80s, or early 80s, I mean. I'm very weird about really old movies. It's hard to relate to them, I guess. And so the earliest movies I'll watch are from like the early 80s and a couple from the late 70s, like Star Wars. Get to the chopper now. Yeah. The problem is that they're too like humans. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I love the Alien movies, right? Like, so we watched Alien 1. My daughter and I love that. My daughter and I watch like sci-fi. Like, sci-fi is kind of our thing. All right, guys, we got 1 minute left. 1 minute. Yeah, I like the first Die Hard. I know it's the original. Well, we like what we like. I've seen it. It's just not, you know. I know she would like. It's hard to get a 15-year-old modern age to watch a 40-year-old, 50-year-old movie. And so, you know, there's a chance I show her Predator 1, or that I show her Terminator 1, and she's not into it. But she definitely was into Terminator 2. It's more 90s, it's more modern. She was into it, you know. We can watch Terminator 1 next time. All right, guys, here's the opening bell. Good luck today. Let's try to make some money. I didn't like the new Roadhouse. It wasn't that good. The old one's good. The new one, not that good. Kind of dumb, lagging. I know. I'm missing out on some good movies. My friend tells me the same thing. My friend's like a movie buff. He loves old movies. I'm just not into them, you know. I can't watch, like, if it's too old, it's just hard to relate. All right, guys. So Nvidia still at 122. Just broke 122 for the first time today. So 122 was acting as a major resistance level, and Nvidia just cracked it right at the opening bell. Nvidia just cracked open. It's at 122.20s. Let's see if it holds. I'm gonna switch to my actual funded account, which I gotta be really smart with. I'm gonna let the opening bell play out first. Alright, guys, so there's the opening bell. Nvidia, again, which is kind of like a gauge of the entire market, is pushing up. Broke over that 122 big resistance level, and now it's continuing to increase higher and higher. We're going to start to short. Try to take some money here. We just took a little bit from this. Boom. Just caught another little $20 scalp. Good start to the day so far. We just thought that we peaked a little bit. We're going to wait and continue to capitalize, hopefully, on it. Yeah, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I'm going to put it in sub-only mode. I don't think I've done that yet today for this stream. All right, so there's a big pullback. So again, let's watch Nvidia. This is a 5-minute chart, so I'm going to switch to a 1 minute so I can kind of gauge it a little bit better. We got a little pullback. You can kind of see how similar Nvidia in the market looks right now, though. So you can kind of see Nvidia is at 122.50. The nasdaq starting to dip down a little bit. I haven't traded the E-mini in a while. Does anybody day trade the Dow in futures? Right, like I usually just stick to the nasdaq, micro nasdaq, but I know I can trade like the Dow and Russell. I've avoided the Russell essentially completely just because I'm assuming liquidity is too low for the Russell. What is it, RTY? Yeah, I'm looking at RTY. I don't know what the liquidity's like in it. It looks to be lower for sure. But maybe it's more, maybe it has some more predictable patterns. I watched Casablanca and I was shocked. Yeah, so one of the movies, my family loves The Office, the American Office series. It's literally our favorite show. My family watches it literally every day. It's like our comfort show. So if we got to go to sleep and we don't want to get stuck watching something, we'll throw on The Office and watch an episode or two and then fall asleep, right? It's something we do every day. And so my family basically walks around doing a lot of Office quotes. You know, one of our favorite being, I want to make sure I get it right. He had no arms and, oh yeah. He had no arms or legs. He couldn't see, hear, or speak. This is how he led a nation. Michael Scott. So we basically going around and do a bunch of Office quotes. Look at NVIDIA. Push it up, but look at the NASDAQ rip up as well. I'm going to short this pretty soon. Kind of risky for sure. But we're going to take one contract here, keep it small, add to it if we go into favor for it. But I guess my point is, in The Office, there's tons of Jerry Maguire quotes. And my daughter and my wife had never seen Jerry Maguire before. I still can't get my wife to watch it for me, even though it's kind of like a rom-com. But my daughter watched it with me, and she was shocked at how many actual quotes there were in that movie related to The Office. How much Michael Scott uses Jerry Maguire quotes. Great movie, by the way, great movie. All right, guys, so we're down on this last little bit. Speaking of my wife. Hello? Hey. Yeah. Get some, like, Fruity Pebbles. Like, healthy Fruity Pebbles. Like, organic Fruity Pebbles. Yeah, we probably need some milk. You want to get some, like, maybe chicken legs, too. Alright. Alright, love you, bye. Don't judge me, chat. I know I can hear the judgment coming from the chat right now about organic Fruity Pebbles. You know. They're organic. Alright. Alright, so we're breaking highs again. I'm gonna short the top. We made a little bit of money there. So we've gotten in. We're up like 20-30 bucks this morning at the opening bell. Carol's go by Walgreens. You know, I know they don't have organic Fruity Pebbles, but still. All right, we're gonna add to this and then maybe add another piece. It's a risky position for sure, but all right, so we were up big in this, and now we've kind of retraced here. So we're kind of flat right now, which is fine. I want to see if we return back a little bit more. We can maybe add to it. We added 2 contracts here. Ah, it ripped right back up. Bro, this song, so we ended up losing money. We're kind of flat. This song just yells random words. Physics, strays. Listen to it. Air, wave, physics. What? She calls every day right at the market open. Yeah, I know. I hate The Office. I don't get the humor. Listen, I'm going to tell you this. Okay, when I first started dating my wife, she freaking loved The Office, right? She loved The Office, and I simply didn't get it. It was too dry for me, right? I didn't understand it. It was too dry. I freaking hated it for like a year plus into my relationship with my wife. I absolutely hated The Office. Okay, what changed is when I started understanding the characters in the story. You have to get into the characters in the story. What a terrible fill I just got. You have to get into the characters in the story. If you can, it's great. But you have to get into it. You have to deal with the first season or two. The first season's especially bad. But If you can get past the first season and start to understand the characters, it's literally one of the funniest shows you could ever see, right? And it's good. And like once you start to, all right, so we just got out. So we just made our money right back. So we got a nice little string of trades here. I'm trying to see what I'm actually up on the day. Yeah, so we're up on the day. That's good. All right, so Nvidia is still testing highs over 123. Yeah, Seinfeld's good. Seinfeld's just not like. Seinfeld is great except for the stand-up at the end of each episode, right? Like Seinfeld is good, but then you realize how out of date, like how dated it is at the end, because like the show's funny and the show's hilarious, and some of the stuff they find themselves in is hilarious on that show. And then at the very end, where Jerry Seinfeld does his stand-up, and you just watch it and you're like, none of this is funny. Like, it's not funny at all. Like, none of it's funny. You know? Like, it's just not... It's dated, right? Like, back then, maybe it was funny. Modern day, you got to come with some better stuff than that, I think. But, again, it's still good. I still like Seinfeld. Seinfeld gets better over time, too, which is one of the things my friend Britt said, is that it gets better over time, which is rare, right? A lot of shows you'll find get worse over time. Seinfeld gets better, which is a cool part about it. All right, so I'm going to start shorting this top up here. I know I've been kind of short heavy this morning. I missed the short. I was going to get in it. And the reason I'm looking to short this is because Nvidia's had a sideways range for a minute now. And so I'm just, it hasn't really broken highs. It's been really, really trying. So we're going to take our largest position of the day, 4 contracts. We're kind of chopping back and forth towards flat. All right, so we got our first little string of good trades in here. Got our second string. All right, so we're out. Yeah, it worked. That little short worked. We're probably up 40, 50 bucks in our funded account. We've had a pretty good string of trades here. Here's all of my trades on the day so far. Or no, my day starts right here. So today so far on this account, we've lost 3 times out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 3 out of 15. So we're running 80%. 80% accuracy today so far in my day trades. We'll see if we continue. Again, once we build up a cushion, we'll scale up some size as well. Bob Saget. That dude was a freaking... Rest in peace. Hilarious, dude. I grew up on Full House, right? So... Bob Saget's just a good dude. I could never imagine him as like a raunchy guy, you know? Y'all leave the twins' dad alone, okay? Alright, so again, we did pull back. My short thesis was correct. Urkel. Yeah, Family Matters. Good show too, man. I grew up in the 90s. I remember Urkel. My short thesis. I should have profited from it. Yeah, my wife and I recently started rewatching Breaking Bad. Much better rewatch. We've watched it a couple times, but we're starting to rewatch it again with our daughter, because our daughter's, old enough now to watch it with us. All right, so our short thesis, absolutely right. And again, like, just to give you okay. So a lot of the time, one of the most common trends that you see at market open is you see big mania to start the day, right? So you'll see like big strength in one specific direction on Nvidia, like we pushed up a lot. And Nvidia on the NASDAQ, we had this big mania open where we went up a lot, we went up a lot, we went up a lot. One of the things that you'll see a lot here is that you'll see as Nvidia starts to slow down in terms of momentum, right? So volume decreases. You see Nvidia starting to kind of go from like an angled increase to like a chop. That's when it's pretty predictable that it's going to make a turnaround. you know, and you can kind of see Nvidia bouncing right off the VWAP. That's a predictable level, but this turnaround is very predictable. It's one of the reasons you saw me, like, as we got higher and higher, I started to increase size on the short, because I think as we get past that opening mania of people buying up the open, a lot of the time we're going to give a decent chunk of it back. And so that's ultimately what I profited from there. And it makes sense, right? Whenever you start to see chop, that means you're not getting as many buys in that you want, and it might start to turn around back the other way. And so that's what that is. I can't guarantee it's going to work. Not an investment professional, of course, but yeah, that's what I was doing there. And that's how I'm able to say, hey, I think it's short, and we start turning around. All right. So we got the little bounce back. Nvidia back right up to the top of the level here. CCL giving back all those gains. What is that? Carnival, right? Yeah. All right, we're right back up to the top. I'm going to start shorting this big pop again. Yeah. 3 contracts. Take 4. Okay, we got a cushion on the day, so I can take a risk now. There we go. There we go. So we took some profit here. I just covered a piece of that. Somehow I got out at profit, but let's see if we come back down. Very choppy market open though. We're gonna cut that there. So we made money on that string of trades. Just to show you all like the whole string of trades today. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4 losses out of 20. So still running about 80% accurate. You know, my losses might be slightly bigger than my wins, but it's still pretty good little range of motion there. Yeah, we're up almost 100. So not a bad little start to the day. Again, I tend to think we're going to come back down a little bit, but I might be wrong. And again, if you want to day trade with me, I'm on Top Step right now. There, you can see me trading with micro contracts. My fees are only 74 cents a trade, which is powerful, powerful. I can profit $2, $6, still net profit, $9, $11. It's literally the biggest edge in funding right now. Zero commission on Top Step X is a powerful thing. It's something that's incredibly useful. And ultimately, you can trade small once you're funded. You can get funded, and you're going to have to take risks once you're funded. Like Top Step gives you a demo, test your skill with it. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose the monthly subscription. Base one's $49, so it's less than $50. If you lose, it's not the end of the world. If you fund it, you get a 90% split. The biggest edge in funding right now is this, where once you're funded, scale down to micro contracts, and you can take these little small and steady gains. And that way, like if you lose, it's not the end of the world, right? Like you can manage risk a lot easier with this type of thing versus like trading regular E-mini contracts or regular like NASDAQ E-mini contracts are huge, right? Like there's a lot of risk that comes with that. And so this is kind of why you see me trading a little bit smaller today, because I can, right? There's 3 contracts. We got a cushion now. There we go. We got a cushion now that we can play with, right? Is what we're doing here. just took some more off. Just took some more off. Yeah, so again, we're up about 100. Very nice string of trades, though. Very nice string of trades. And again, what I'm doing here, if you're watching me, is I'm kind of trying to find a level in which we are extended in one direction. So we go up a lot, I start shorting it. We go down a lot, I start buying it. We go up a lot, I start shorting it again. Right? And even if we break out of this range, and, you know, I'm still going to make money on that a lot of the time, I think, you know. Yes, Jeanette, yes, you can. You know, so again, if you want to check out Top Step, here's the link. And again, watching NVIDIA and the NASDAQ here, if I put up these charts like simultaneous, like next to each other, you know, that's when you really get some good like potential action. Like, look. Let me see. Wait, there's micros. That's when you get some good potential action. Like, look. So here's the NASDAQ futures contract. So a lot of people don't understand this about futures. But you can day trade very similar price action to NVIDIA. It's not the same price action. This is the NASDAQ 100. But it moves in a similar way, you know, versus the NVIDIA chart. You know, so you can basically get exposure to day trading stocks in a way with index funds that are filled with stocks, right? And they move with stocks because NVIDIA is going to move the NASDAQ because the NASDAQ is made up of a heavily weighted stock like NVIDIA, you know. So ultimately you're able to kind of trade and you know, trade very similar patterns. Like, look, if I zoom in here on the NASDAQ, you'll notice it looks very similar to NVIDIA. Very similar to NVIDIA. So tomorrow is GDP data. So GDP data tomorrow is massive, right? Like, that's what happens tomorrow is GDP data. Now, it's the second revision GDP data. The last time was the first revision. So basically, the initial estimate came out around 3%, and that's the least accurate one. As time goes on, that's when... Here, and I'm trading one of my challenge accounts, by the way. I'm doing it off stream just because it's easier. You know, so we just made about $300 just now on this one. But yeah, so GDP tomorrow comes out. It's the second revision, so it's an update on the accuracy of the first one. Oh, wait, I put the Top Step link out there twice. My bad, guys. Let me delete the first one. Yeah. So it's interesting because we're going to get an update to the GDP data tomorrow. It's a very important report, very interesting report. And again, we'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. You know, I'm hoping we get something good for GDP. And then Friday, we get PCE data coming out. So Friday, we get PCE data. So I'm going to pivot to where I'm day trading an actual challenge account now. So we've been trading a micro account on an actual funded account. We build up some profit on the day. And again, my plan with my actual funded account is to build up small and steady gains. And then use those gains to take larger swings later down the line. But so far, we're a very choppy, like neutral set. I'm actually going to go long, even though I think it could be possible for us to continue dropping. Because I think that we're in a choppy trend, but I almost think it's too predictable, if that makes sense. And so we're going to take 2 contracts here. There we go. We took half off there, locked it in. Going to add to this since we've got some cushion. Took another piece off there. And now we're about flat on the rest. And we got at least a little bit of cushion to let it work. Let me see how much I'm actually up or down on this account today. Okay, so we're up 300 plus on this account now. All right, we did get the spike here. Look, so we're up 280, 360. We're taking that off. Look, all right, so we just made about $400 or $500 just now. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see exactly how much I'm up. So we were up $620 on this one on the day. 620. So we're doing pretty good on these accounts. And again, we got that little upward press here. And again, like I said, like you can kind of see me say, hey, I think this is going to happen. And a lot of the time I'm right and I can have good accuracy because you do get into kind of like a flow state of how the market moves, you know? So I have profited from each direction accurately so far. I profited from this upward move a little bit, but mostly shorted. I don't know if I profited from that upward move, actually. I shorted this. I bought this dip, made money on the upside, shorted at the top again, and then made another gain on this little bounce so far. So far I've been reading the market well. I'm not saying I'm going to continue to read it well. Don't copy me. Not an investment professional. Hey, well, thank you, Jeanette. I appreciate it. So just be safe in the market, guys. Like I said, it's an interesting day. It's the day before big reports. Today's kind of slow. We don't really have much going on today. Tomorrow is kind of slow too. Or no, tomorrow's not slow. Tomorrow we got a lot of stuff. The big reports come tomorrow and Friday, and then next week's huge. We got non-farm payrolls, unemployment. We also have Jerome Powell. I forgot doing tomorrow. Yeah. So look, we were right about this little bounce. And again, like I'm gonna talk about why I have these different mentalities. Because okay, so basically what I see is this, right? I see choppy action. Once we get to here, right? So once we get to this price action here, okay. The question I ask myself to try to predict the next step is, how often do you see something go exactly like this, right? Like, let me draw it out. How often do you see something go exactly like this? It's not really common. Even if we continue in that choppy range, at this point in time, it's less likely, I think, that this is going to go exactly down to there, and more likely that we're at least going to get some strength and start to show up with regards to NVIDIA, right? So again, if you heard me predict that, I got that right as well. I gotta celebrate my wins when I get them. I'm not even claiming to be a good trader. Definitely not claiming to be an expert. I don't sell a course or even claim to be good. But that's how I was able to read the market today, and that was my thesis while I was reading it. And again, we got it right today. We'll see if we can keep getting it right. We do have new home sales today, but they're not really big, to be honest. So like, we got new home sales, not really a huge report or anything like that. Not really gonna be some big influential report. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and close it down, guys. I don't think I'm going to trade anymore. Tomorrow, we're going to be back for a much bigger day. So I'll see you guys back tomorrow. Remember, if you haven't already checked out Top Step, again, they're a sponsor of mine, affiliate of mine. Again, just a really powerful company that allows you to get started in trading for less. And again, this zero commission aspect of Top Step X, regardless of which account I'm trading on, I'm green today. So I'm green in basically everywhere today. Regardless of that, there's no commissions. Biggest edge in trading. Check them out. I'll be back tomorrow. Again, the last 3 days have been very, very, very slow. We just haven't had anything go on, right? Like, we've had flash PMI data. You know what I mean? We've had consumer confidence data. None of this is big. We got new home sales today. None of this is big. All of that is very slow, very boring, not really influential over markets, and the market's mostly been choppy, and we've been profiting from this chop. But I think, yeah. So Stoned Bunny, I did see your message. Okay, regarding your message, you know, like one of the things, like I'm gonna touch on this real quick, and then maybe I'll cover new home sales since we're about to do it, and then I'm just gonna close down the stream. So basically, you sent me a message. You said that you were looking at algorithms, and you thought, like, I'm in real estate. Okay, well, only thing is, like, you're trading algorithms. Like I would be very weary of any automatic trading bot that trades for you. Like, getting alerts from an algorithm is fine, and that's something that you see me do a lot, right? Like, I get alerts and build algorithms and do all that different stuff. That's one thing, okay? It's a completely different thing to have basically a bot that automatically enters and exits positions for you. That is a completely different thing. The latter is a much more risky thing, okay? And so what happens with these is that with these trading bots that are automatic like that, what you'll see a lot of the time is this. I'm going to draw a profit and loss example graph. You'll see you'll make money. make money from these trading bots. A lot of the time they're adding, and they're doing a variation of like the martingale, where they're adding size, adding size, adding size, adding size, right? And so a lot of the time the people that use them, they use them for 4 days, and their profit graph looks like this, right? And so they're like, oh my gosh, this is great, I'm gonna be rich from it, right? Then they leave it for a month, and their profit graph goes from this to that, right? And all their money's gone. Okay, because in order to make some of those gains through those trading bots, they have to take on noticeably more risk. And so, again, that's like the martingale roulette graph will look like this. You'll make money, lose everything, right? Very, very, very common, okay, in these trading bots. These trading bots will produce a lot of them. I can't say for certain any of them. These trading bots that trade for you will do the same thing. Up, whole account's gone. So just be very, 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 very careful if you're going to be using automatic trading bots. That niche is incredibly risky. You could lose everything you have. I'm just trying to help. I think like you got to understand markets are risky, and anything that trades for you in that way is a completely different level of risk, right? And again, to go back to my other point, it's fine if you take algorithms and you get alerts from them or do whatever. That's one thing. It's a completely different thing if you have some type of bot that trades, enters, and exits positions for you. It's never safe to leave that bot running. You don't, especially, I guess, if you're risking big money, it's a completely different thing. In crypto and stocks. So you just want to be careful. So just be careful. Again, they're going to market like you're going to get rich from them. I would be very, 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 very hesitant. Very, 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 very careful. If that makes sense. All right, guys. Again, I'm going to cover new home sales. It drops like right now. They're expected at 699,000, 699K. Last time they showed up at 739. We'll see if they come up or down. They drop in about 5 minutes. And new home sales showed up at 716,000, an increase in new home sales. 716 versus 699 expected. New home sales increased. New home sales increased in August to 716,000 new home sales in August. New home sales percentage month to month for August was down 4.7%. 4.7%. So those are the new home sales numbers. I'll see you guys later. I love you all. You'll have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow. GDP first revision data is tomorrow. It's an absolutely massive report. Again, subscribe if you haven't yet. Hit the notification bell. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. I'll see you guys later. Understand, guys, top 3 worst trader of all time ever in the world. Don't copy me, not an investment professional. Understand CFTC 4.41. Hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations. Top 3 disclaimers in the world. I'm out.